But there is something to say about maintenance. You know, there is very often a component of being reactive. You can't really, you can't always predict failure. So how do you bake that into this idea of planning and scheduling?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things there. I think the most important thing, you're absolutely right, is, you know, obviously we'll have corrective maintenance, right? Things fail and we need to fix them. The most important step there, I believe, is that when you have corrective maintenance that comes in, you have a failure, you do a good prioritization that basically makes sure that you understand, okay, what's the consequence and the likelihood of what I'm dealing with here. So you do a kind of a risk assessment and say, okay, if I don't do this job right now, how much longer do I have? And that gives you really some stability. Instead of saying, oh, I've got a failure, I've got to fix it right now, you can say, I've got a failure, but actually I can manage that because I can start the standby pump, or actually I have another way of dealing with it. And give yourself a couple of weeks or longer to basically live with that impending failure, and so that you can plan the job properly. You can get your resources together, you can get your materials ready, you can get a clear scope of work, package it up, and then execute it. So this is why that front step in the planning and scheduling process of prioritization is so important, because that creates stability in the rest of the process. If you let all these emergencies come in, then you're back into that reactive firefighting. So that prioritization is key to filtering that out to some degree.
That's a good point. I think a lot of teams that we see will take every single thing that comes up, whether it's a breakdown, and say, we need to prioritize this, drop everything that we're doing, prioritize that amongst everything else. Kind of forget about what's the priority of this in the grand scheme of things, of the other 100 things that we're working on. So I definitely see your point there, Eric.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be much work. Huh? It's a simple process where I've seen this work really well in assets in organizations, and that's what I've been training people to do. Is just very simple. Every day you look at the new work request that's come in, and you do with a team, with operations and maintenance there, because operations understand usually better the impact on the plant, and maintenance understand the technical requirements. You do a quick review. You know, you may have 5 or 10 new work requests, and it should take you 15, 20 minutes. And then that sets up the process for the rest of the weeks.